how do we go about just sort of scraping the surface in terms of what should we do, or what should we talk about when we own a business? So just about myself, so obviously I am the CEO of Firefly Global, but today I'm putting on the eFusion hat because that's our baby in our company, and we are really passionate about our little baby, and we're excited to see where it's going to go. So myself, got a background in marketing and communications, eventually moved into public relations and stakeholder relations. And then in 2018, me and Janthinus co-founded eFusion Digital, and what turned out to be like a small little thing is starting to get on its stackies and start running, and we are very, very proud of that. I want you to just take a moment now where you sit there, and I want you to think about marketing messaging. So where you sit there, how many marketing messages are you experiencing, processing now? The fact that you could look at this is a marketing message. The fact that you look at this is a marketing message. Your phone, when you go to bed in the evening, when you look at the alarm clock, that's a marketing message. When you wake up and you go and you brush your teeth, you use a certain brand. Why? Because it's your brand. That's why you use it. Right. The average South African, it's sort of estimated that you get per day between 4,000 to 10,000 marketing messages that you process in a cycle of 24 hours. If you're in your car, just think, you're driving, you don't even pick it up, but you're looking at the billboard, the Ford billboard here on the highway. You're looking at a car next to you, oh, that's a nice BMW. So we see it, and we're subconsciously starting to process all these marketing messages. And that's why we should be so keen to explore ways to get ourselves there. But there are ways to do it. We cannot just sort of splurge out who we are. We need to be a bit responsibility about when we do marketing for our businesses. All right. So Professor Philip Kotler, he is a mastermind in modern marketing. He is a professor at the Kellogg School of Management in Illinois. And his thing is, marketing is not about the product. It's about the customer. It's about the client. We should not make it about the product, the features, the things that it can do, but we should make them feel like they matter within the marketing process. Ultimately, when we do look at ways to market our business, we need to look at ways to engage with our client base. And how do we do that? Is by finding ways that speaks to people. People need to feel what you can offer for them. It's no longer just a calculated thing, oh, this thing is this color and it's this size, this is the volume that it offers. It really gives you a sense of why. Why is it important? Right. It's no longer just about making the sale. It's about building a bridge, being the link between the customer and the product, and making sure that when you do get to that point where you get to do the sale, that people get and understand the why of that product. At eFusion, we are very passionate about making sure that we play this role as best as we can. We want to see ourselves as bit as business romantics. We want to connect a problem with a solution. And that's really when we get to the point where we look at creating emotional resonance with our target audience. And that you can only do when you start understanding who you are talking to. By doing that, at eFusion, we believe in 5 key principles. And every business should implement these when we talk to our audience. Ultimately, what you need to do is you want to understand what they're thinking. When they look at your product or service, what happens inside of them? So the first one is authenticity. I think the currency now, when we look at the sales environment in South Africa, is really making sure that we speak about realness, about authenticity, something that people can relate with. People don't do business with business. People do business with people. And the only way that we can create that trust is to make sure that we make that connection. Ultimately, it's no longer about the key features, as I said. It's the why, the purpose-driven part of it. People want to know, why do I need this in my life? What's the last thing that you were really looking forward to buy? And you probably picked that thing because it sort of resonated with you, didn't it? All right, there was an emotional connection to it. Just imagine what you as a business owner can do. You can sell shoes for that matter, or you can sell an intangible service. You can make that happen by creating that emotional resonance with that person or that client base. Ultimately, when you think about iconic brands, What do they sell? So if I think about, let's say Apple, what do Apple sell?
Convenience.
All right. What do Nike sell?
Lifestyle.
What do Discovery sell?
Lots.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. So when we look at Apple, Apple do sell devices. It makes it easy. But to me, if I look at Apple, Hannes, keep quiet. All right. When I look at Apple, Apple sells innovation. It's no longer just about a phone or a tablet or a computer. It's about a lifestyle of convenience and innovation. When you look at Nike, yes, it's not about the sneakers and the gear. They sell something about resilience, perseverance, strength. And if we look at Discovery, it's not about a medical plan per se, or banking solutions or risk. It's about doing a better life, doing it better as a person, and enabling you to do life better as a whole. And that's why it's very important that when we talk about authenticity, how do you communicate your business through authenticity? Are you doing it? Are we doing it well? And we should be like little devil's advocate almost, questioning yourself the whole time. The second thing that's really crucial, and we love it, I'm a right brain person. That's who I am. That's why I have a business partner who's a left brain person, and I'm the right brain person, and I can go on a tangent, and he's the one that will rope me in and say, all right, okay, we need to change the scope just a little bit, make sure that you are fine. All right. When you look at marketing and we look at innovation, it's not a skill. It is a way of approaching the world. It's a way of thinking about alternative ways to give the message through. All right, creativity is not about just structuring a product and put a sticker on it and put it on a shelf. All right, innovation is all about taking risks. It's all about being bold, being fearless. And I want to say it's almost, you know that TikTok video that you want to make for your business? You thought about it and you didn't have the guts to do it. I want to say you better be fearless. You better go for it, make it, even if it's bad. Go for it, do it well, own it. But you get there at some point where things will work out. Things will snap into place. And the only way that will happen is when you become fearless about it. Innovation is key. We cannot, as business owners, do the same things that we've done 5 years ago. Even last year. If we think about it in that way, people, we're going to get left behind. We're going to get stuck. We're not going to move forward. Ultimately, what we want to do is we need to also start embracing new technology. That's part of it. We spoke about, I heard someone spoke about AI, artificial intelligence. Now it's a big thing in South Africa and worldwide. AR, if you don't know what AR is, augmented reality. I can take my phone, I can buy a pair of sunglasses, I can first check how it looks on my face before I actually get to cart. That's the way that we do it. Do we need to make use of social media influencers? Is that an option? Yes, possibly, maybe. We need to push the barrier when it comes to innovation. It's no longer just about putting your product on a shelf or on a website. It's about finding ways that is different, that is creative, and that is innovative. The third part is really all about empathy, people. We need to understand who our audience is. And I know that I'm not talking to you about creating touch points, making sure that we understand their emotional landscape. But do you know what excites your audience? Who's your client? What do they think about at night when they go to bed? What scares them? What keeps them awake at night? What do they dream about? Ultimately, what we do as a company, or you as a business owner, you are managing the perceptions that they have. You're managing the behavior. You're even managing the value system that they might have about your product offering or that of the world outside. So the responsibility that we have as business owners is to make sure that when we do give our business narrative and our story through, that we are true to that we understand the person that we're talking to. Ultimately, what we want to do is, empathy is the best tool that you can utilize in your business, but it's also the worst tool. So that's why it's very important to make sure that when you embark on this strategy, to understand the why once again. What are they thinking? Where are they? Are they your client? And if so, what can you offer them? But more important so, why do you want to offer it to them? It's also not just about targeting. It's about keeping your ears open. I always tell people, go into Chihuahua mode. You know these small little doggies with the big ears. That's where we need to be. You need to listen to the opinions, what people say, what they say to one another at the Firefly's fire. That's what we need to do as business owners. Only by doing that, we will really understand how we can create touch points with them, how we can relate to them. Having a fancy website is nothing. What we say and what we do with that to get people to that website, that is everything. The fourth thing that is really important is to make sure that we are consistent in what we do. It's always a thing of the story and the narrative of the business. How does it translate? Consistency is key. It's part of a cohesive brand strategy that we need to implement. From the website that we are having, online, fancy schmancy, what does your email say? Does it correlate with your website? What's on socials? Does it look and feel the same when we talk to one another through an email database? Or when they visit the website? What's your product packaging like? I don't know if you give maybe like these corporate gifts like pens. Are they clever? I always manage to lose them, I don't know why, but yeah, they are the best thing ever, because if they look and feel the same, if they speak of quality, and your business is all about quality, does that even resonate with the notepad that you give them as a thank you gift? Ultimately, what you need to do is, you need to get to the point where you understand we are not budging on our value system and what we say and our core beliefs. We're just finding other ways to embark on different channels to market with the same language. That's what we want to do. Absolutely, we need to evolve. We cannot stay the same. All right, we need to make sure that we do not keep stagnating in our business. So once again, we need to go back to innovation. We need to find ways to be creative about talking to people, finding out what they want and speaking in their language and addressing that. The last thing is really important, and that should actually be 5. Is really important, is that we need to realize that the marketing ecosystem is not a stagnant little puzzle piece that's just there. It's a living, breathing entity, and it's something that you need to measure, that you need to adapt, and that you need to keep pushing forward. Ultimately, engagement and sentiment is the one thing that builds brand loyalty. When you are loyal to your customers, addressing all their pain points, their dreams, the things that makes them excited, they will be brand loyal. But we can only do that by being consistent, by being innovative, by speaking about solution-driven and purpose-driven marketing. Ultimately, what you want to do as a business owner is to just start. We get so wrapped up in everything in our business, the admin, the finance, the operations, that we keep forgetting about the fun of it. We need to make fun of business, but also make the fun work in such a way that it builds trust, that it builds loyalty with your client base. Data is key. We cannot just rely on numbers. We need to look at things more deeply. We need to look at engagement. We need to look at how people talk about you, who you are. What are the experiences of you? How does that sort of interpret what people think of you? Making sure that when we do look at analytics, we need to incorporate that as well, together with intuition, making sure we use technology, couple it with a strategy, and make sure that we test it and we run it. We track and we trace. But we need to make sure that we always take maybe a step back sometimes and say, all right, are we on the right journey? Are we where we need to be? And ultimately making sure that we keep this marketing ecosystem alive and breathing. We need to still remember that we are responsible for shaping the perceptions of what people think of our business. We are not in a position to sell anymore. We are the storytellers of what we do. It's no longer about selling the features, as I said. We need to create stories. People are woven together with stories. Your mum told you a story when you were little with a book. You probably told your children stories. When we sit around the kuiertafel, we are telling stories. Have you heard? I've done this. My sister went there. And it's all about the storytelling. So if we can weave that storytelling in the same way through, we can make magic. Ultimately, we want to make sure that we connect with people on a platform and a level where they are. If it's the millennial with a phone glued to their forehead, it's one thing. We can tailor comms with that. If it's the gogo in Malabongwe selling fake cook that needs your service perhaps, we need to understand where she is and where she comes from, how she thinks about risk, how she thinks about solutions that your business offer them. Ultimately, what you need to do is you need to be front of mind in that mum that's on her way to the nursery school going to drop a toddler. What are you saying? But most important, how are you saying it? And then after that, why are you saying it? Because touch points is the ultimate key. We need to understand also that connection is the most powerful thing. The moment we've got empathy, we've got opportunity, we can make a connection. So I want you tonight to be very critical about yourself. Not too critical, don't give yourself a hard time. But just go and be a bit of a devil's advocate and look at your business and see, how can I be more purpose-driven? How can I be more empathic? How can I make a connection rather than just a hard sell? If you want to have a chat, we can always set up a coffee date with you. But ultimately, we want to see businesses succeed. And once again, I said we are business romantics. That's who we are. To us, we like to see people not just survive. You need to thrive. And if we do this, if we connect with our target market in the best possible way, we will get there. Thank you.